I'll just start by introducing myself. My name is Karen Fiorito, and I'm the president of the Los Angeles Printmaking Society. In case you're new to LAPS, we are a nonprofit organization with a national membership of over 240 members. This is part of our kind of what we do is serving our community and serving our artists with opportunities such as exhibitions and talks and demonstrations and other opportunities. So with that said, look us up on laprintmakingsociety.org if you want more information. And so with that, I want to introduce Dale Youngman, who I invited to give this talk today. And Dale is an art curator, dealer, consultant, and former gallery owner with 2 decades long history in the Los Angeles art scene. She has twice been recognized with a certificate from the City of LA Mayor's Office for her many years of achievement and art advocacy, and now spends her days marketing, social media management for artists, galleries, social media management for artists, galleries, and art organizations. So with that, I will let Dale take over. Thank you, Dale, for being here, and we really appreciate you giving your time to us today.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for inviting me, Karen, and thank you, everybody, for taking the time to be here. I want to congratulate you on being here because it means you take your art business seriously. And being a successful artist means a lot more than just making beautiful art. Unfortunately, I know several artists that make really beautiful art, and it sits in their studio. And the idea is to let your art go out and offer beauty to the buyer and to the world. So today we're going to talk about getting your artwork seen and sold. And it's kind of a difficult time in the art world right now, although emerging from COVID, things are opening up again, and that's terrific. But one thing that COVID did was it expanded the way people communicate, such as on Zoom meetings. During COVID, I did over 60 Zoom studio visits with people around the world, and that was awesome. But now we're going through a period where the writers and actors strike has so many people out of work in Los Angeles that it's creating a kind of trickle-down poverty of sorts, because it's not just the writers and the actors that are out of work, it's the restaurants and the caterers and the hair and makeup people and the art galleries that lease art to the productions. And with all of that money that people aren't making, there's less expendable income. So therefore, people are buying fewer luxury items. And it is certainly being felt throughout Los Angeles. And I've spoken to several gallery owners, and they lament the fact that people still come to openings, but they don't have the kind of sales that they used to. So that doesn't mean we should stop marketing. We still need to do everything we can to expand our networks. So that's probably the most important thing for an artist, is to get more eyes. I like to say, get more eyes on the prize, and you are all the prize. So you want to do whatever you can to expand your network and your audience, to introduce yourself to more people. And as I said previously, social media has become pretty much the #1 way that's happening these days. So social media started many years ago with things like MySpace, and now it's become very, very sophisticated. But Instagram is now basically the #1 method that most artists and people in small businesses use for outreach. And I want to talk a little bit about Instagram before I get into the other platforms, because the thing about Instagram is it's about the image. So your posts have to be, beautiful and well lit and have good content. And your captions need to be engaging and educational. And you don't need to have 200 hashtags. You need to have maybe 6 or 8 that are meaningful, and a couple that are humorous if you want. But what you want to do is you want to attract the people that follow those hashtags, because even if people don't follow you, but they follow a hashtag that says, LA Print Society or something of that sort, you'll pop up in their feed. So beyond posting and having good captions and hashtags, the other thing that's really, really important in social media are the engagements. And a lot of people don't even know what engagements are. And so they don't do them, and then they wonder why they're not growing their audience. So an engagement is when you follow someone else that is influential in your market, or someone that you want to see what you're doing. So it can be a gallery director, an influencer, a critic, a writer, an art magazine, anybody that you want to pay attention to you, and then you pay attention to them. So you write on a consistent basis something witty or profound or funny or grateful or whatever on their posts. And then after you do that a few times, they're going to say, well, who's this person, Karen Fiorito, that's always making nice comments? And then they go to Karen's page and they go, oh, she's awesome. And they follow her back. So in the past 3 weeks, I have been working for someone actually that Karen recommended, and I have increased her followers on Instagram by like 108 people in 3 weeks by doing just that. Okay, so it takes some time. I usually spend a half an hour a day per client. I manage 8 profiles. I spend half an hour a day doing a quick post and then the engagement. And it's finding the people. It takes some research. And you might find, you might put in some keywords yourself, like people that are interested in culture or opera or concerts or things that show that they're culturally aware. Obviously, phrases like art collecting or art lovers or things like that. If you follow those and then look and see how those people are and then follow them back. So there's a process to it, and it takes some time, but it's the best way to gain new followers that you want to know about you and your work. So advancing that concept into Facebook. Some people don't use Facebook anymore. I think that's a mistake. There is a lot of people, especially people of a certain age, like several of us, that love Facebook. I love Facebook. I use it. I have 2 Facebook profiles, Dale Youngman, which is my personal, and then I have Dale Youngman Projects, which I don't post to as much anymore because I no longer have a brick and mortar gallery. I have an online gallery. And so I post on that page a little bit more. But the idea is, if you join groups, then you can post on those group pages. For instance, I co-curate a gallery in North Carolina. It's called Art Highlands. And for them, I have joined what's happening in Highlands, North Carolina, what's really happening in Highlands, art and culture in Highlands, and all these other different kinds of groups where I can then post about their events and their sales and, what's happening on a random Wednesday. So the Facebook groups are great places to talk about your live events or just something interesting that you're doing, something interesting that you saw. It's all about staying in communication with as many people as you possibly can to get them to pay attention to you. Because it's hard. If you live, in the suburbs and you don't have a lot of galleries you can go to, but also being seen out at events is another really important thing to do. So join groups, stay on top of your social media, go to gallery events, go to pop-up events, find a charity that you like, see if they're doing an auction. Maybe you can help out with that. It's the wider the audience that you have for your work, the better the chances are that you're going to sell the work. It's just mathematics. So to that end, hopefully you all have professional websites. It's still important to have a website, whether or not you think Instagram will do it all for you, because it can't really. The only people that see Instagram are the people that follow you. But a website is something that you can easily promote. It doesn't need to be a commerce site, although it can be. But having a professional website is also selling you as an artist. And I know for a lot of people, buying art is a very personal kind of experience. So it's about building a relationship. And if you can't build it online, through social media, you can build it on your website by telling your personal story. So your bio needs to be a nice story, a backstory about yourself, how you got started, where you came from, where you went to school, or your job or your hobby have any kind of impact on your work. And then an artist statement that talks about your practice, your process, your technique, why you do what you do, how it makes you feel, that kind of thing. And so by reading the bio and the statement, people get to know who you are. And sometimes that right there can be enough to have them, feel a relationship or something that resonates with them. And make sure that you have a contact page so they know how to find you. Please include your email address or some way for people to reach you. I can't tell you how many times I've picked up a card at the Beverly Hills Art Show or something, and there's no information on it except a web address, and you go to the web address and there's no phone number. And I just think that's crazy, because if people can't find you, then how are you going to sell to them? So please make sure that your websites are up to date, and that if you use your website as a commerce portal, make sure that your prices are the same there as they are everywhere. Now, I know many people are in various online sales platforms. They are on Saatchi or Artsy or something. A couple of you might be on Omni, which is a new boutique art platform that I happen to be marketing director and curator for. So if any of you are interested in learning more about that, you can hit me up and I'll send you some information. During COVID, website art sales jumped 400% because people still wanted to look at and buy art. It's backed off, obviously, since then, because galleries have opened up, but it still is much higher than it was pre-COVID. So take a look at some of the various art websites out there and consider that as another platform for you. And as I said, just make sure that your pricing is consistent. And I tell this to people all the time because a lot of artists that I work with live at the brewery. So the brewery, in case you don't know about it, is the largest live-work artist colony in the country. It is located here in Los Angeles. It's a mammoth 21-acre campus with hundreds of artists and creatives living there. And they have public art walks twice a year, which are just amazing, amazing weekend events. And I love them so much. But a lot of the artists would say, oh, you're buying direct from me, so I'll give it to you for half price. Well, that just really screws over any gallery that is working with you. So please don't do that. Whether you have an open studio or you participate in an art walk, or people come into your home. I mean, if it's family or a good friend, that's a different story, of course. But please don't screw over your gallery owners and the people that are working hard to help you sell your work. Just set a price and say, this is the price. And then if you want to give someone a 20% discount because they're, you know, your best friend, that's totally up to you. But it's not like advertising that this is going to be cheaper because you're buying it direct from the artist. Your art should be whatever price you decide it should be, and that should be that. So the next best way to promote your work, and it's probably the original way that a lot of people started getting the word out about what they do, is email marketing. Now, email marketing, lots of people don't do this anymore because they think social media is enough, but more people will open an email address to them from you. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can create a newsletter, or you can do it through something like MailChimp, which is free if you send 1,000 or less emails a month. Or if you have a big email list, I think it's $13 or $20 for up to 6,000 emails a month. But it's very easy to do. I mean, the trickiest part is inputting your database, which also isn't that hard. They have a way for you to do it. Just pull it directly from your email address book. But email marketing is still a tried and true way to get out there and let people know what you're up to. And it's a great way, even if you do it quarterly, to include a few photos of new work or works in progress, or talk about your shows, your successes, your sales, things of that sort. And to build your database, collect business cards when you go out. If you go to a gallery and you see a whole bunch of people that are gathered and talking about the art, go over and introduce yourself. You don't necessarily need to say, you know, whip out your postcard, but meet the gallery owner or the gallery director and talk to people there and try and collect some business cards so that you can stay in touch with them. Or send them a quick note afterwards saying, so nice to meet you at the, you know, so-and-so gallery. I'm an artist. I'd love to send you a newsletter a couple times a year. And then take it from there. If you are showing in a gallery somewhere, see if they'll let you put out a guest book. Some galleries are fine with sharing their own guest book with you. Some not so much, but it's worth an ask. Because, as I say, the idea of building that relationship is really something that's so important for you. And then you can categorize people into, okay, these are collectors, these are gallery people, these are interior designers, or something like that. I mean, that's how I categorize my database, and I've got thousands of people in my database now. But, you know, press, collectors, buyers. So that way you can tailor what you say to them. I also want to mention interior design is a big market that I think a lot of people don't know how to reach, but I did it. I started it on LinkedIn when I would just search out interior design people and find them and follow them, and do an occasional blog that's directed to that market. So if any of you are writers, that, having a blog on your website and then posting it on LinkedIn, which is more of a business to business platform, less of a social media and more of a really like business networking platform. I highly recommend putting some time into LinkedIn and searching out people that are museum directors, interior designers, decorators, architects, other art consultants, and trying to build, again, it's that relationship building to increase your audience and your network. So the other thing that I find a lot of artists don't do, and I think it's something that helps a great deal, is collaborations. See if you can find a local little art group in your town, or even if you find it online, but find out where they're located, and maybe do a collaborative art project, or contact your local chamber of commerce and see if they have any suggestions for outlets or projects or things that you could assist with. Other business owners, people like restaurant owners, quite often are very willing to let a local artist put some art up in the restaurant, as long as you don't make a mess of the restaurant. I mean, maybe you pay someone who knows how to professionally install, but I know many artists that have sold work out of restaurants and out of stores like boutiques and things of that sort. I have a artist friend that sold a lot of work at a pet store because she did pet portraits. And so if you think outside of the box and think about where to find potential clients, there's really a lot of different avenues for that. And then, okay, so that's about getting it seen. As far as sales, probably I am asked at least once or twice a week, Dale, help me sell my art. Dale, get me into a gallery. Dale, introduce me to your collectors. It's a hard business. And, I'm not going to blow smoke up your skirts and say, oh, it's easy. It's not. I gave up a six-figure career in the fashion industry to become a struggling art curator. But I do it because I love it. And I have devoted the last 18 years of my life to helping artists get their work seen and sold. But, I still live in the same small apartment for the past 16 years. So, but I'm out there and I'm networking, and I go to anywhere between 2 and 5 art events every weekend. And I meet people, and I collect business cards, and I talk to gallery owners, and I ask a lot of questions. So if you have a desire to get your art into galleries, the only way to do it is through research of the galleries to find the right place for your art. So that means you can either do a lot of running around in your town, or you can go online, which is what I do. And I find, for instance, I had a client who wanted to show in Chicago. She said, I want to show in Chicago. I want a gallery in Chicago and a gallery in Miami. Okay. So went online, plugged in Chicago art galleries, and I went to probably 50 or 60 websites. And I picked about 15 out of all of those that matched in content and price point the kind of art that was like hers. So that's the most important thing. If you sell sculpture, don't apply to a photography gallery. Do you know what I mean? It seems simple, but so many artists say, oh, I want to be in that gallery, and it's the #1 gallery in town, and I want to be in that gallery. Well, if you're selling work for $4,000 and they're selling work for $40,000, they're not going to look at your work. So look for content and look for price point. Those are the two most important things. Then, once you've identified the gallery, scour the gallery for a name and a submission protocol. That's the most important. Some galleries don't have one, in which case you can just write a nice letter and include like a presentation deck or something that shows your body, you know, a few examples of your work, short bio, short little, you know, CV of type. But most of them will have some kind of a submission protocol, and it will specify, send a bio, a CV, 6 examples of your work. Learn how to label your files. I'm so surprised that more people don't know how to do this. Label your file with your last name, underscore, title, underscore, dimension, like height by width, underscore, 5,000 .jpeg, or whatever your price is. Do you know what I'm saying? So that if they download that and it goes onto their laptop or their computer, they're going to have all the information within the file. So I learned this many, many years ago when I opened my first gallery in 2006, and I just put a call out on probably Facebook asking for submissions, and people sent me all sorts of art, and then I downloaded it, and then I had no clue how to tell them, well, I like this one. So then I asked someone who became a mentor to me, and he said, oh, well, this is how you have to instruct them to label their art. So anyway, just a little hint, if you always do it like that, every gallery director and curator will thank you. And then hopefully they will follow up with you. If you don't hear back, do not be discouraged. Send another little email, maybe a month later, and say, just wondering if you received my submission. I would just like to know if it's anything that you're interested in. And, you know, and please, the courtesy of a reply would be very welcome, or something to that effect. And then if they don't get back to you, then obviously they're either overwhelmed or it's not something that they feel fits their gallery. And don't be discouraged, because there's thousands of galleries that you can apply to. You just have to find the right one and at the right time. I know that during COVID, I had several artists that had me doing submission packets for them. And I started sending them out and thinking, oh, well, it's COVID. They're not open. The galleries are closed, but maybe they're still reviewing submissions. Well, come to find out, everybody's exhibits got pushed back, some of them for a year. So they didn't look at anything. And the ones that did, you know, a few people did get back to me and say, we're just so sorry. We're, you know, our schedule just went down the toilet, so we're not looking at anything new right now, but we'll be in touch. But anyway, that's how you do it. And for alternative spaces also, as I mentioned, that's another thing you have to research carefully, because you want to be careful of the kind of place where you put your work. You know, if you're an established artist, it might seem kind of silly for you to offer up your work to a restaurant. But if it's a really high-end restaurant and they sell, you know, $200-300 bottles of wine, then that's the kind of person that might appreciate your art. So it's about research, and then resilience and perseverance. And those are basically the hallmarks of someone that's going to be successful selling their work. Obviously, you need talent and skill, but as far as from a business standpoint, you know that old saying, you have to throw a lot of spaghetti against the wall before some of it sticks. And that's, you know, that's very true. So I would suggest diversifying your outlets. Definitely think about online if you're not there doing that already. Definitely work on building up your email database. definitely start doing engagements as well as posts and reels, join some groups, and try to expand the people, the audience of who gets to see your art. And those are the key points. So I guess probably those are the points. Does anybody have questions? I wrapped up a little earlier than I thought I would, but if anybody has any questions, I'm very happy to answer them.
I do, yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. That was a lot of information packed in there. Thank you.
I hope I wasn't speaking too fast.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, a lot of good ideas that I wrote down everything. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'm making you repeat what you already said, but I just clarifying. So I'm on Saatchi and Etsy as far as selling prints and things, and Saatchi takes 50%, Etsy takes much less, so my prices are significantly different. You're saying I should make the Etsy match the Saatchi?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's simple.
pretty yeah, high.
Because you don't want to screw over Saatchi.
You know, I don't care about Saatchi.
If someone Googles you and they see that you're selling in two different places, that's I mean, every gallery owner would tell you the same thing. You know, I kind of straddle the fence because I am a gallery owner, but I also represent artists. So I negotiate for everybody to be happy. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot by having different prices. So just, hopefully they're not too far apart. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to make a big jump from, $300 to $600, but at least get closer, All
right. Yeah. Thanks.
Sure. Next, go ahead.
I had a question. Hi, I'm Wendy Murray. Hi, I'm a silk screen printer. I had a question really similar in regard to pricing. I have different prints at different price points, but I do sell my cheaper prints, my $35 range, at markets like Melrose, and I do like local craft and art markets, makers markets. And so I sell them for $35 plus tax at the markets, and people have asked me to put them online. And at the moment, I've got them online for $40 plus shipping. And I just thought, my thinking was, if they're a little bit more expensive online, it helps cover my costs and the kind of hassle to sell them. And
well, you have packaging costs. You have packaging and handling.
Handling and taking it to the post office and stuff.
Right. And that's an insignificant difference. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay, cool. Okay, great.
Anybody else? Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to jump in and follow what everything. And you did talk fast, and you have such a, incredible, wealth of information. So, but I just wanted to go back. You started with Instagram. So, and, the algorithms keep changing. It's just so frustrating.
Yes.
And, it's like you just don't know, and then you think you have a sense, and then it changes. And I do feel manipulated. But if you could just go back and just talk a little bit again about Instagram and how to gain engagement that with your work, with your posting, and the hashtag thing, which I don't understand.
Okay, well, so there's several different things that you want to do on Instagram. You want to post, and you want to have a nice, clear photo that has good light and good composition. Your captions, they don't need to be long. I mean, they can be, but they don't need to be. But you want to explain what the photo is. I have looked at several, I spend probably at least 3 solid hours on Instagram every day for all the different clients that I manage. And in looking for people to engage with, I come across a lot of images that have no captions at all. And I find that very frustrating. So you don't have to write a whole lot, but write something that describes what people are looking at, whether it's, you know, your cat sitting on your keyboard, or a meal that you made, or whatever it is that you want to talk about that day. And I do suggest, I mean, I'm kind of joking, but not really. I do suggest that you vary your feed a little bit, because you're telling a story about yourself. And so you want people to think of you as a real person. So one of the artists I represent, I post what he's working on. I post the gallery shows that he's in. I post him at work in the studio. I go over to his studio every 3 or 4 weeks and take a bunch of photos. I take a picture of his dogs sitting next to, you know, a piece of art. And talk about different things so that it keeps people engaged. So it's not always, look at this print that's on my website, buy it now. You know, I vary it up a little bit so that it keeps the feed interesting. And then people don't feel like, oh, he's always trying to sell me something. It's more like, oh, he's telling me about his process, about his work. You know, today I posted something about, can't wait to get, I just bought a bunch of new canvases, can't wait to get started. But meanwhile, I've got a bunch of art on the walls and it needs to go somewhere. Are you interested? You know? And but I had a picture of him just sitting in his studio. So, you know, and yesterday I posted something like his dog sniffing one of the paintings. I mean, it was funny. So I think just to kind of keep that interesting when you're doing your posting, and then your hashtags can be, like I say, you don't have to do 20 of them. Vary them a little bit, you know, hashtag art collecting, art collectors, art lovers, gallery event, gallery talk, studio time, you know, things that people who are artists and art lovers might follow. And you can see also when you do the hashtag and then whatever it is, art lovers, you can see how many millions of posts it gets. So you know that people are seeing that. And then that image, because it's tagged with that, will show up in their feed if people are following that. So that's as far as posting and hashtagging. The engagements, I would find any gallery that you're interested in, they all have Instagram profiles. Follow the galleries, follow the art critics, follow the art writers, the magazines, design magazines, interior designers, fashion influencers. Those are all people that are interested in art and music and culture and things of that sort. So I have another artist friend. She has a whole series about wine bottles. So for her, I started following all these wine clubs. And so, you know, finding wineries and wine lovers. I looked up wine lovers clubs and just started following all of those people, and then engaging on their feed saying, oh, it's, you know, 4 o'clock, you know, it's time for wine. And then, you know, hashtag sip and shop, or hashtag rosé all day, or whatever, things like that, that tie back to them. And you're not even talking about your art. You're just saying, oh, you know, thank you for sharing that, you know, that beautiful sunset out your, you know, window or whatever, you know, something that the gallery in North Carolina, they live in the most gorgeous place. And so a lot of the people that I'm following for them are like the Chamber of Commerce, you know, the Art and Culture Society. There's some jazz ensemble that plays in a lot of local restaurants around there. So I'm following all those kinds of people. And then, you know, the restaurants posting about just redid our dining room. And so what does the gallery say, which is me writing for the gallery? Oh, your new dining room decor looks so beautiful. We can't wait to come visit. You know, hashtag hungry. So things like that make them happy, make them smile, let them know that they're doing a good job with their posts. Then they look at that and they go, oh, who's that business? Oh, who's that person? Maybe I should investigate them and look and see what they're up to. And so that's how you gain followers.
I have a question.
Mhm.
How do you know something's or someone is not scamming you? Who looks at your website and says, oh, I love this, I want to buy it, the price is right, and so on. And that's one part of it. And the other part always troubles me is how expensive shipping is and how you handle that.
Well, first of all, they
But
have
mostly the scamming, if it,
as far as scamming, I mean, it happens to everybody. So you just have to be really aware. They have to pay, and the money has to be cleared and in your pocket before you ship out the art. So if you can take a credit card, that's the best way, because then you have recourse with the credit card company. If they want to send you a check, that's fine. They want to pay you through PayPal or Venmo or Zelle. That's how I collect all my payments. I do PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle, and I've never had a problem. But make sure that money is cleared and in your bank before you ship. And what I would do is I would tell them the price is what the price is, and you'll let them know about the shipping. And then you just have to take it to UPS, which is what I would suggest, and have them box, ship, and insure it for you. And then just add that price to the cost, let the customer know, and that's it. And then make sure you get that money and it clears before you ship it out. So I know that.
And you found, yeah, I mean, that all makes sense. You found that most people will send the money in advance before they have the piece, before they have
Absolutely.
something.
They have to. They have to. I mean, that's if you know, if you're a retail store, you're not going to let someone walk out with a pair of shoes unless
Oh,
they
of
pay you,
course.
right?
Mhm.
It's the same thing. You're a retailer.
Mm.
You are sending something to someone. Amazon collects their money before they send you the goods. So think
I'm
of
far
yourself
from
like
Amazon, though.
think of yourself like that. Like you're an online seller. Think of yourself like Amazon. Amazon collects their money and the shipping before it gets shipped out. That's
Okay, thank you.
standard business. Yeah. Anybody else? Sure, go ahead.
Hi, me, Leora.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thanks, everyone. Sorry, I was late to the call, so it sounds like you spoke about Instagram, and forgive me if you've already mentioned this, but I'm just curious your take with AI generated images. Like, I'm so freaked out by all this, so I just paused for a couple months. So just curious, like I feel like anytime I'm putting something out there, maybe it's now competing with bots, or I'm just sort of disillusioned, and I just thought to get your take on it. It sounds like just to continue with Instagram regardless. Is that?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the big problem I'm having with Instagram is that everybody wants to buy the art as an NFT. And I'm telling every artist that I work with, just say no NFTs in your description at the top of your page, you know, in your profile,
Okay.
just say no NFTs. Because I was getting every single day from every single one of the artists that I work with, oh, like a private DM, which is also a really good way to connect with people. Eventually, to do a private DM, if you say, you know, really love your gallery, I'd love to, you know, talk to you sometime about submissions. You could send a DM like that to a gallery.
Sure.
But I would get so many DMs about NFTs that I just I had to put it, I just told everybody, just put it up in your profile, no NFTs. But as far as
Is
AI,
that still hot though? I thought that was kind of wrapping up.
I thought so too.
Oh, so
I
it's still
never-
going. Okay.
But no one's making money on it like they were.
Right, right. That was like a
Oh, I know
flash
some
in the
people
pan.
that did, and then I know people that lost a lot of money too. So I just, it's basically, it's a way to store your money is basically all it is. It's just, it's like, yeah, it's kind of a way to like hide some money in a way.
Okay.
But, I don't really want to say that because there are legitimate people that are selling art that way, but I think it's still a little sketch to me. So I
Right.
stay crystal clear. And as far as AI, well, that's part of the big sticking point with the writer's strike right now. And just recently I read that they've decided there was some kind of landmark decision that art created by AI was not going to be given trademarks or not going to be allowed to be trademarked because it's not hand touched by anybody. Basically, it's a computer doing it.
Mhm.
So I think that it's good for some things, but I don't think it's not digital art if the artist isn't doing it. It's a computer doing it completely start to finish. I don't think that's ever going to compete with something that's handmade.
Right. And I think my question is also about like when I put images out onto digital spaces, I used to be concerned, oh, someone's going to steal your art. So I would do, lower res. But now it's like you put your image out and it goes into like the AI machine. Is that just part of life now?
I wouldn't worry that much about it. I mean, if you are concerned, put your name in like a watermark at the bottom.
Watermark. Okay. Thanks so much, Dale.
Sure. Someone else have a question?
Well, I just wanted to pick up on, copyright. It's what I have read, and I just, have done a lot of research and legal background about, copyright and issues. And apparently AI images do not have copyright.
That's correct.
So once you understand that, you can't own your it's not yours.
Right. Well, it's made by a computer. It's not made by an artist. So
Right.
That's why they decided they would not allow those images to be copyright. So I don't know too many artists that copyright their art because most artists are creating so much art that they would spend all their time doing paperwork and paying for the copyright. So, I don't.
You don't have to do, file with the Library of Congress or whatever, that you make the work. It's copyrighted.
And you own it. Yeah, the artist owns it as opposed, yes. Yeah. So I someone else had a question. I thought I saw a hand. No? Are we done?
On Instagram, this is just going back to Instagram really quick. If I have 1,500 followers and I'm following 6,500 people, do I look uncool?
No.
That's the important thing.
Who's on Instagram? I think I probably have more followers. I think I'm probably following more people than I have followers right now. To be frank, I don't even post nearly as much as I used to on Instagram because I'm spending so many hours doing other people's that I don't do enough engagement on my own because I just get tired of it, honestly, which is not good. I mean, how can I tell people, oh, I'm an Instagram, master when I don't even have, I have a lot more followers on LinkedIn than I have on anything else because I do work LinkedIn. And I post blogs on LinkedIn, and that's kind of a little bit more of a serious platform. So, but I think it's important to be on all of them. And there's so many terrific artists and cultural things to follow on LinkedIn, and I'm a cat mom. So I follow a bunch of crazy,
Uh,
like cat links too. So
yeah, yeah. I had a thought regarding if you're struggling to know what to write when you post a picture. I've been noticing a lot more people are putting a image description for visually impaired. And I was thinking that might be a good way to at least get started with writing something about your post. You could describe what's happening in the picture.
right. Yeah, that's true. I used to do that. I had one client that wanted me to do that. I don't do it on most of them because it like doubles your time.
Hmm.
Because in the caption, I like to tell a story. But for what's it called for the visually impaired? I forget what it has a little
Like
alt.
image capture or something. I can't remember. Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. Anyway, but that is supposed to be a literal description of the photo so
Mhm.
that the visually impaired know, oh, that's a sunset over the ocean
Mm.
with a boat. And you might write in your caption, this beautiful sunset was taken at such and such a place, but it's a little more story-like. But
Okay.
yes, you're right. It can help you
Mhm.
to think about what you want to write, if you start there.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, well, I want to thank you
Oh,
all.
wait, one more hand raised. Sorry.
Oh,
Have your hand
okay.
raised? Valerie?
Just speak up. Just speak up if anybody has any question. Otherwise, nope.
No? Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, you all can find me on Facebook. I am Dale Youngman. I think there's a few Dale Youngmans, but if you look at the photo, you'll figure out it's me.
And also at daleyoungman.com. Right.
That's my website, daleyoungman.com. And if you want to take a look at the online platform that I represent, it's called Omni Presenti, which is OMNI, Omni Presenti, like present with an I.
And
Omnipresenti.
I'm one of the
.com.
artists on her website too. I'm an Omni Presenti artist, and it's a great platform. I'm on Saatchi and Artfinder and a bunch of others, but I really like Omni, so you should check it out. Yeah.
So, and we've got some big news coming up this fall. So we're going to have a whole lot of new technology. It's a boutique art platform that was created by a gentleman on the East Coast who owns 5 different businesses, but he started it because his daughter is a deaf artist. And he wanted to create a platform for her where she could interact with people and build relationships through various kinds of technology that he's developed. And there's some new things coming in the fall that are going to be really will make us stand out. And so we'll be the new kids on the block with some things soon. So, but anyway, meanwhile, check it out if you're interested.
Thank you. Oh,
Okay.
Sydney?
Oh, wait, someone with a question, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank you for the presentation. I'm also from around Highlands, North Carolina.
Oh, no kidding.
Now, I used to go, do you know the area?
No, I don't really. They live in Highlands on the plateau, I think.
Yeah, it used to be the place where the Coca-Cola people spent the summer.
Well, they chose it because they said there's a lot of money there. And
Yeah.
in the past 2 weeks, they've sold like 10 pieces of art. So, when I recommend an artist to a gallery and it sells, I get a little piece of the action. So I'm very happy with that because I'm not selling a lot of art here in LA, but the gallery is called Art Highlands. So you can find and follow them on Instagram, and you'll know that it's my voice behind it.
I'll look it up. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, I'd
Thank
like
you so
to,
much, everybody.
yeah, I'd like to thank you, Dale, from everyone at LAPS for doing this for us, and like to do another workshop with you, maybe in the next year or so.
Sure.
Okay. So thank you everyone for coming, and for those who donated, we really appreciate it. And yeah, so
Okay. And feel free to write me. I'm Dale Youngman at me.com. So that's my email. It's my name at me.com.
great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thanks so much.
Have a good night.
All right, Karen, I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, yeah, we had a couple of thank yous in the chat.
I see that. Yes, that's so nice.
So. All right, well, have a great night. Thanks, Dale, again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.